Good evening, everyone, and welcome to session 2 of day 3 of the South Asia Teaching English online conference. I'm Udani, and I'll be the host for this session. And we are so excited to have so many of you come and join our sessions. I hope you were able to watch our panel discussion that happened before. And this session is going to be about tools. And continuing with today's theme of using technologies, this webinar is on enhancing English teaching and learning with AI, practical tools for listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And during the panel discussion, we saw a lot about concepts related to AI, generative AI, and now you will really be able to see how we can use these tools, and you will see some live demonstrations. Before we begin, just a quick housekeeping notes for everyone joining us today. Please use the chat for your comments and the Q&A box to ask any questions to our speakers. You will receive an editable PDF certificate. The link will be shared at the end in the chat and on Facebook. Remember that this session is being recorded and delivered via Zoom and is also live streamed on British Council Teaching English Asia Facebook page. A recording of today's webinar will be posted on the Teaching English Asia Facebook page within 24 hours. Finally, we ask everyone to be respectful in the chat. Please don't share your personal email addresses or your social media account details. And keep the comments focused on the session, and don't share personal opinions, political views, and links to other products. Moderators may remove participants who disrupt the session. Thank you. And we are so excited to get started. I'm thrilled to introduce our speaker for today, Joe Dale. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Udani. Fantastic to be here.
Hi. Yeah, how are you?
I'm
Good.
good. I'm good. I'm really looking
And
forward
where
to
are you?
the session.
Yeah, and where are you joining us from?
I'm joining you live from Dublin. So I've just been
Wow.
doing a 3-week tour of Ireland, but I go home on Sunday. So this is the last date of my tour.
Nice. Okay. Hope you're enjoying it.
Absolutely.
And yeah, all right. And let me start, before I hand things over to you, let me start telling the audience a little bit about you. Joe is a renowned international trainer and an expert in educational technology and language teaching. He has also worked with educators, schools, and ministries of education around the world, helping them use technology in ways that are accessible, inclusive, and tailored to real classroom needs. And like I said, he'll be sharing a lot of tools today. So we will, towards the end, share some of the links as a PDF. So these links and the key takeaways mentioned by Joe will be shared as a handout on our webpage by 24th of July. So don't worry about the tools, you will get them. Just enjoy and watch and observe what he's doing. All right, over to you, Joe.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Udani, and thank you to the British Council for this opportunity. So I'm going to share my screen. And there we are. That's all fantastic. Okay, so here's my presentation. Thank you so much for all the people joining live. As Udani has said, this is going to be full of live presentations. And so as I'm doing it all live, fingers crossed everything works absolutely fine. So let's make a start. So we'll go to, there we are, the next slide. And as has been said, my talk is called Enhancing English Teaching and Learning with AI, Practical Tools for Listening, Speaking, Reading and Writing. I really enjoyed the panel discussion that I accessed earlier, and I think this is going to complement this nicely. So Udani is giving a bit of biography about myself, a bit more background. I was a languages teacher myself for 13 years. I taught French at secondary school level for 3 years, and then 10 years at middle school level working on the Isle of Wight, which is where I still live. And for the last 16 years or so, I've been a consultant. I've gone all over the world working with organizations, speaking at conferences and running training, literally all over the world. So it's a real pleasure to be here right now. And let's get on with the session. Okay, so what we're going to cover in today's session is we're going to first of all talk about the ethical and responsible AI use in schools, which was picked up a lot in the panel discussion, so I'm going to be covering that. Free tools for listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So a very practical webinar full of practical ideas. As I said, practical demos of classroom applications. It's particularly been prepared to support teachers and students in a low bandwidth and mobile only context. So we'll be looking forward to seeing your feedback on the different ideas which I will be presenting through this presentation, and also how we can support print-based and offline learning, e.g. we can create a quiz using AI, but then we can make a paper-based version to be used in class if required. And last but not least, we're going to look at some strategies for supporting differentiation and inclusivity as well. So that's what we're going to cover in the session. To begin with, we're going to talk about, as you can see, the ethical and safe use of AI. So I'm just going to read this out. I know that you can read this as well, but to help anyone that finds that difficult, or maybe if my audio is being broken up a little bit, I'm just going to read this for you now. So before using any AI tools, make sure that the relevant people, learners, parents, and school communities know that you're using this tool, and encourage students not to share any personal identifiable data while using them. That's very, very, very important. Some tools may collect data and some may have age restrictions, as has been said in the panel discussion already. For example, ChatGPT requires that children ages 13 to 18 obtain parental consent before using it, and that's true of lots of other tools as well. Find out what you can about each tool before using it by checking the privacy policy and the terms of service. Be aware that AI-generated content may include bias or factual inaccuracies. Again, really important that we carefully think about the resources that AI is producing. We use our critical thinking skills, and so always check outputs before using them in class. I like to talk about the 80-20 rule. In other words, the AI can do 80% of the work, but that 20% of that human intervention, those critical thinking skills, are very, very important to make sure that the content which the AI produces, that we tailor, adapt, edit to make sure it's appropriate for classroom use. Okay, so in education, what's the buzz around AI? I'm sure a lot of you are feeling the buzz already, having been part of this amazing event so far. So let's clarify some of these important points. So AI supports lesson planning, assessment, and feedback. It helps personalize learning and reduce teacher workload. It often can be used in high-tech settings, but it can also be useful in low-tech ones, which is what we're going to be looking at today. And it expands access to quality content in low-resource settings. And last but not least, here is a link to a British Council report on how you can use AI and some practical AI activities, which I would thoroughly recommend to have a look at. So the first thing we're going to look at, which I saw in the chat in the previous session, is how can we use AI for lesson planning in low-tech environments. So again, here are some points. So we're going to look at a Google Doc with drop-down menus, which I've created for you, whereby you can choose the level, the skill, the grammar, and the topic to help you design a lesson. We're going to generate a lesson plan and a downloadable worksheet via ChatGPT. I'm going to show you how you can produce a PDF for classroom use, and we're going to see how it can save planning time and handles multi-level needs. And last but not least, this is the actual link. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go into my Chrome browser like this, okay? And this is the Google Doc which I've got open right now. So the idea here is this should help you with your prompt engineering skills by giving you a framework to help you produce a better prompt. So the first thing we're going to do, as you can see, it says act like an experienced, and I've got a number of drop-down menus. The first one is suggesting the language. So I'm going to choose English teacher. And then I need a lesson plan, but we could create a worksheet, or you could adapt this and put in a project or a scheme of learning. And then here we've got 3 dots. So what I would love for someone to do in the chat is suggest a topic that we could create a lesson around right now. So can someone write in the chat, all the hundreds of people watching right now, I'd love for you to write something in the chat, and then I can then go for it and write something, or alternatively, I can just demonstrate an idea instead. So nothing's coming through yet, so that's okay. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to get rid of the 3 dots, and I'm going to put in my own topic. So I'm going to go for daily routine. Okay, so that's the three dots there. That's when you can adapt the content. Okay, this lesson is, so this could be 45 minutes, 60 minutes, 90 minutes long. I'm going to stick with 60 minutes. And here we're using the CEFR levels. So we could go for A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. So I could go for, I'm going to stick with A1, A2. And the skill focus is, so again, here I've got listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Let's imagine we only want to look at listening and speaking. What I can do is I can choose just listening and speaking like this. And that way, as you can see, what we've got here is, I see in the chat, what I should have done is I should have scrolled down, but that's okay. We'll just stick with daily routine. So thank you for all those contributions. That's fantastic. So you can see what I'm doing here. And then as you can see, it says the lesson will focus on grammar, vocabulary, phonics, and the intercultural dimension. If I just want to focus on grammar and vocabulary, then all I have to do is just select the options within the drop down. You don't have to choose all the options. I can just focus on two ideas. And then in the process, you should include, and then here we could use certain vocabulary such as I wake up, I go to the bathroom, I get dressed, etc. I'm not going to do all of them, but you get the idea. And then here, when it says avoid, you could put in something you want to avoid, e.g., over complex language. Okay, and again, you could give some examples. And then here, it says here is an example, and this is when you would put it, you could put in an example of a previous lesson plan because AI loves a good model. So then once you've got your prompt ready, you can then copy it, and then we can go to a new tab and I can go to ChatGPT or another AI model such as Google Gemini or Microsoft Copilot. And I'm going to paste in my prompt and then send it in. And as a result of that, it should have produced a much more effective prompt than just saying, I would like a lesson plan on daily routine. So by doing this, you can then look at the different responses. As you can see, it's got different lesson stages. It's got ideas around listening and speaking, as I've asked. It's got a speaking game, and so on and so forth. It's also got some ideas around differentiation, which is fantastic. And because it's got to know me, it's asking if I want a Word document for this. So I could say, yes, create a downloadable Word document with the lesson plan only. Okay, and then I'm going to then send that in, and it will then say analyzing, and then it will start to create the Word document for me. So I could then download that. And so obviously in a low-tech environment, the fact you can create downloadable Word documents, I could have gone in and I could have said, create this particular resource or make a worksheet or whatever it might be. I can download the results as a Word document, even in the free version, although you're more limited with the number of messages you can send in the free version. And then I could print that out, as many copies as I need for my class, and away you go. So hopefully in no time at all, you'll be able to, there we are, you can see the Word document. You can also download a PDF, you can download a PowerPoint with text only, not images, and so on and so forth. So that's a really, really nice feature. So if I just show you now what this looks like. So this is the Word document, there we are. And that's what it looks like. So that's now the lesson plan, but that could be a worksheet, whatever it is that I would like it to be. Great, so that worked very nicely, I think. So I'm now going to go back into my presentation, which is here, and hopefully that's giving you an idea of how you can use a prompt builder to help you produce more effective prompts. Okay, so I'd love you now to answer this question, these two questions, sorry. How might this tool support your own prompt writing or lesson creation? And also, in what ways could your students benefit from lessons planned using this tool based on what I've shown you? So I would love to see some comments right now. That would be great. I can see people are saying some very kind things about what I've shown you. That's great. And yeah, I'd love to see some more comments. I can see that we have a comment, this will lessen our work. I agree. So this should save you a lot of time. That's the idea. Okay, that's brilliant. I'm going to move on because I've got a lot to cover, but thank you so much for your feedback so far. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at Suno. And Suno is it's a free tool. There is a premium version, but I'm going to show you what you can do for free. And it's a way of creating your own song based on your own lyrics. And it's amazing. Okay, so Suno.com, improving listening and speaking using AI. So to begin with, we're going to talk about how AI can create child-friendly songs using phonics or vocabulary or grammar structures, whatever it is you're doing in class. Users must be 13 plus and have parental permission. That's obviously very, very important. You could ask younger ones to create the lyrics for you, and then you, as the teacher, could then create the songs, which again, you could download and play in a low-tech environment. As I've just said, you can use lyrics to create gap fills or sequencing activities or worksheets and so on and so forth. And you can create topic-based songs to support vocabulary retention across different themes. And this is the final idea: reinforce grammatical structures through rhythm and repetition, which we know songs can really help with and can become sort of earworms so that the children can listen to them again and again and again. And this is the website. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come out of my presentation and I'm going to go straight into Chrome and I'm going to go to Suno. So what I would love you to, well, this is what the website looks like. What I would love you to do now, please, is to give me a topic, and we're going to create a song about that topic right now. So I'm uploading the chat. I'm juggling on the chat to see what the first topic is going to be. Kindness. Can we maybe have a bit more? Because is that a topic that you would teach in your lessons? Let's have a look at. I'm trying to the Earth. Let's go for the Earth. Let's go for the Earth. Okay, so I'm going to do this right now. So create a basic song in A1 level English on the topic of living on the Earth. Make it catchy. Okay, so I'm now going to send this in. What I should have done is I should have put this into a new chat, because otherwise it may get confused. So I'm going to put this into a new chat and then send it in. Okay, so that's all fantastic. And as you can see, it's come up with a song, Living on the Earth. And there we are. Oh, I don't know how the AI is going to cope with the clapping, but that's interesting. So it's now made a lovely song. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this like that. And then I'm going to go into Suno and I'm going to choose the custom option. You can choose the simple option and put in your prompt, but the custom option means you can put in your own lyrics, which is just great. So there's the song. And then the style, you can choose different styles. I normally go for folk because it's nice and laid back. And then the song title was, let me remind myself, was Living on the Earth. Okay, so let's put that in right now. Living on the Earth. And now I'm going to click create. And what's going to happen is in a few seconds, we're going to get two versions of the same song. And we'll see which one we like. So that literally has taken a few seconds. So this is the song Living on the Earth, completely created with AI. Here we go.
We live on the earth, it's our home. Clap, clap. We live on the earth, it's our home. Clap, clap. We have trees, we have seas, we have birds, we have bees. We live on the earth, it's our home. Clap, clap.
Okay, let's go for the second version. I like the clap, clap. That's great. Here we go.
We live on the earth, it's our home. Clap, clap. We live on the earth, it's our home. Clap, clap. We have trees, we have seas, we have birds, we have bees. We live on the earth, it's our home. Clap, clap.
Okay, so in a real situation, I think I would remove the clap, clap. It's quite amusing. So you can hear you've got two versions, same lyrics. And what you can do is you can choose the one that you like. You click the three dots, you click download. It's still rendering, but once it had finished rendering, you can then download the MP3 file, and then you can then play it offline, as I was talking about. If you have connectivity, you could embed it into another tool, such as a Padlet or Book Creator or other places, and give access to the students whenever they would want. But you could just have a paper worksheet, play the audio in class offline, and they can do an activity what a great way, I think, of using AI. Okay, so let's go back to my presentation, and thank you for the recommendation. That's great. So the next thing is I would love you to give me some feedback on these two questions. How might AI generated songs support your students' learning of vocabulary and language structures, and in what ways could using AI generated songs help motivate or engage your students? So I would love to see your answers on that. The website is free to use, but there is a premium version, and I think I'm right in saying you can do 5 free songs for free every single day if you want to. Okay, there will be a handout, as we said at the beginning, that you'll get in a couple of days' time, and that will have all the links that I'll be referring to. Okay, so any answers to these questions? How might AI generated songs support your students' learning of vocabulary and language structures? And in what ways could using AI generated songs help motivate or engage your students? I would love to see some feedback. Okay, I can see someone's written, learners generate their own lyrics to input into Suno. Yes, as long as they're over the age of 13 and they have parental permission, or if they're younger or don't have parental permission, they could share the lyrics with you, and then you could create some songs for them. Maybe have it as a prize, as the best few songs, for example. So I would really recommend generating the lyrics in ChatGPT, because that way you can review them, you can edit them, you can make sure they match the structures that you're doing in class. Okay. And it is free. It is free. I've seen that question coming up a few times. It is free, 5 songs a day. Okay, let's carry on. Right. The next thing we're going to have a look at is how you can generate podcasts using Brisk Podcasts. So this is for dialogues and audio. So you can create short, natural sounding conversations with audio and a transcript. You can use the Brisk Teaching Chrome extension, which works best in the Chrome browser, which I'll demonstrate in a moment. You can use the transcript for reading tasks, offline listening, or to generate printable exercises with ChatGPT. It's great for listening practice, oral exam preparation, or pronunciation support. And last but not least, this is the link to the Chrome extension. So again, I'm going to come out of the presentation, and I'm going to show you this live. So this is what it looks like. That's the Chrome extension. So you have to add it to Chrome. You need to give permission for it to access your Google Drive. It is GDPR compliant, which means that your data is safe essentially. And but do check the terms and conditions and the privacy policy of any tool that you want to use. So I've got this installed already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this blank document, and I'm going to click on this icon here, because that's there because I've installed the Brisk Teaching Chrome extension. So I click on that and I click create. And then I'm going to go down to where it says podcast, like that. And so now I want to put in a topic that we can have people talking about. So can someone suggest a topic very quickly in the chat? And I will make a podcast about it. Water conservation. Great. Okay, so let's go for it. So I'm going to say 2 teenagers discussing water conservation. Okay, so you can see, there we are. I'll just edit this a little bit. So I'm using dictation on the Mac because it's quicker. 2 teenagers discussing water conservation. I'm going to choose the grade level. Let's go with 8th grade. So that's sort of 14-year-olds. And it's going to be in British English, although it could be in a number of different languages. And then I click Brisket. And what's going to happen now is it creates a new page. The title of the interview is Saving Every Drop, a Teen Talk on Water Conservation. You can change the speed like this, which I'll demonstrate in a second. You can download the podcast that you make. There'll be a download button in a minute, and you can share the link here as well, quickly and easily. And you can also hide the transcript as well if you want to. So there's the podcast. Let's have a quick listen to get a flavor.
Hey, Oliver. Did you know that today is World Water Day?
Oh, really? I had no idea, Zara. What's it all about?
It's a day to raise awareness about the importance of water conservation.
Okay, now I can go a bit slower like this. I just go 0.8 speed.
It's a day to raise awareness about the importance of water conservation. I've been reading up on it, and it's quite eye-opening.
Sounds interesting. What have you learned?
So yes, this is completely free, what I'm showing you, okay? So you can hide the transcript like that, okay? You can show the transcript, you can copy the link, share it with your students, and you can also more importantly, in the environment we're talking about, you can download the audio and then play it offline. So you could take the transcript, put it into ChatGPT, etc., and then turn it into a worksheet or a gap fill or whatever it is that you want to do with it. Okay, so that is Brisk Teaching, the Chrome extension for creating podcasts. Okay, let's go back to my presentation. So now the question is, how effective do you think Brisk podcast could be for practicing listening and speaking skills in your context? Could you give me some feedback about that? In relation to if the Urdu language is supported, you'll have to check in the drop-down menu for the different languages. I can't say hand on heart the answer to that one, but you have to check it out yourself to see which languages are supported. So how effective do you think that this idea I've just shared with you could be for practicing listening and speaking? I can see that we've got a comment, very effective for speaking and pronunciation, improved comprehension, helping understand accents. That's fantastic. That's great. Thank you so much. Lovely. So let's carry on. So now we're going to have a look at, I know I'm going quite quickly, but we are recording the whole thing. Okay. So now I'm going to show you how you can use Padlet for generating AI images, which will be appropriate for use in class. And that's officially from Padlet. They've said that even if you try, you will not be able to produce inappropriate images, which is fantastic. So that's why this is great to use. And also Padlet is GDPR compliant as well. So teachers and students can write simple prompts to generate bespoke personal AI images. Images support storytelling, speech bubbles, or descriptive writing activities in class. Students describe their images using voice or writing on their mobile phones as homework. Teachers can moderate and choose what to share. All images can be downloaded in one file, which I'll demonstrate in a moment, for easy offline use or classroom display. Okay, and then here is the link. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you how to do this live. And so I'm going to go back into Chrome, and I'm going to go to Padlet, which I've got here. Okay, and I'm going to click on the blank board option, which is here. So I'm in my Padlet, and this is just making a Padlet. So as you can see, you get a random name. We'll stick with My Harmonious Padlet, and you've got the wall option here. So I'm going to click on the done option like that, and now I'm going to customize my Padlet. So I'm going to click on here, and I'm going to click on the wallpaper, and I'm going to change the color like that, and I'm going to click save. Then, having done that, I'm going to go down to where it says comments, and I've got comments turned on, but I'm going to click deselect all. So I just choose the commenting option that I want, and I'm going to choose audio recorder, which means if the children have access to a mobile device and an internet connection, they can leave an audio comment about the picture that they create. Then I'm going to click save. I'm going to go further down, and I'm going to click on post fields like this. Now here under subject, instead of having subject, I could write name, for example, like that. And then I could click save. That means that the students are prompted to write their names on the Padlet. So I click save. Then here under attachment, a bit like the commenting, you can click on the none option, which means everything has been deselected. But then if you just want the AI image option to appear, you can click on that, and that means that's the only option that will come up when you add a post. Then you click save. And then last but not least, you've got the body option. If you don't want the students to write anything, you can click hide like this, and that means they can no longer write on the particular post, which is fantastic. Okay, if what you want is just for them to create an image. So now I'm going to go further down. I can click on moderation, and I can choose the manual option, which means I get to see everything before I decide to publish it live or not. And then you've also got what's called copy protection, which means I can click on disable all, which means the students can't download the images which I create. So I could share this with everybody. I'm not going to do it right now because there's too many people watching right now, but I could share the QR code, or I could copy the link to the board and share the link however you would share your links normally. But let's imagine someone's got access to the Padlet. What they could do is double click on the screen, and you can see now it says name. So I could write my name, and then I've only got the AI image option here because that's the only one that I've enabled. And as you can see here, I can't write anything because I've disabled that as an option. So if I now click on AI image, here, this is what I can then write as my prompt. So for example, when I do this normally, I ask people to tell me what their happy place is. So I'm going to describe my happy place right now, or some of my happy places. So here's an example. So sitting around a campfire with friends, listening to a guitarist playing folk music. Okay, so that's an example of a happy place. So I'm now going to press the send button, and what will happen is I will get 4 different images that will come up, and then I choose one of the images and I can then add it into the Padlet. So you can ask the students to write in their written prompt, and then it will generate an image based on that. So I like this one. I'm going to go for that picture and wait for it to publish, and then I'm going to click publish, and there it is right now. I could then add another picture. I could put my name again, click here, and then I could do another happy place. I could say, going for a walk in the woods with my family. Okay, and now again, I'm going to send this in. So it could be, whatever topic it is that you're doing, you could ask the children to create their own images, which are going to resonate with them because they've made them themselves using their prompt. It's obviously a lot quicker than getting to draw something. I quite like that one. So I'm going to go for, oh no, actually this one. Let's go for, no, this one, that one. And then I'm going to click publish like that. So because the students have created these images, it's going to make it more memorable. So I've got all my images. I could download them individually by clicking here, clicking on the 3 dots and clicking download attachment, but I can also download them all in one go. Before I do that, let me just show you the commenting option. So I can click here, and I've got an audio recorder option, so I could describe my happy place like this. Okay, so one of my happy places is sitting around a campfire with friends listening to a guitarist playing folk music. Okay, so I'm obviously just describing the image. I then click playback and save, and then as a result of that, I've now got some audio there, so the students could add audio, and if the students are adding audio, because I've turned on moderation, I can choose whether I make them live or not. And then here, if I want to download everything, including audio comments, I can click on the arrow option here, scroll down to where it says download all files. I click download all files. It will then put everything into a zip folder like this, and it should now allow me to, there we are, save my file like that. And then as a result of creating that, I can now go to here, go to the folder, double tap on here because I'm on a Mac, and there are my images like that. Okay, and I can do other things with those images. I could put them into a worksheet or a presentation or whatever it is that I want to do. So that's a really quick and easy way of being able to generate personalized images that I can use in class. So that was Magic Padlet. Okay, so how might you adapt this activity for a low-tech classroom with printed images, for example? Any suggestions on that? How would you use AI-generated images in your context, be it in a low-tech context or otherwise? So we've got an example for descriptive writing, for learning adjectives, great ideas. For picture story activities, perfect. Well done. That's great. Lovely. Okay. Next one, Google Translate and TTS MP3. So what I'm going to do right now is talk about this, how we can use this to make learners more independent. So students can build personalized phrase books in Google Translate to support pronunciation and vocabulary. Saved phrases can be heard using the loudspeaker icon on Android, iOS, and desktop. You can export your phrasebook to Google Sheets and then use a tool like Natural Reader or TTS MP3 for playback. Useful for independent out-of-class practice, even with limited access to devices or Wi-Fi. There's the Google Translate link, and there's the ttsmp3.com link. So now what I'm going to do is show you this live. So I'm going to go to Chrome. I'm going to go to here, and I'm going to go to a new chat. And I'm going to do the following. I'm going to say, create a table with 2 columns. In the first column, write 5 phrases in Spanish describing opinions about school subjects. In the second column, write 5 translations. Okay, so the reason I've said Spanish is because we're going to use Google Translate. So you could obviously choose whichever language you would like. And what we're going to see right now is we're seeing this coming up right now. So I'm going to copy this translation in Spanish, and I'm going to go to Google Translate, which I've got here, and I've got Spanish there already, and I'm going to paste that in. And as you can see, it then says, I love history. Now, you may not have noticed before this Save Translation option. So you can click on that. And now, in fact, before I do that, if I just remove that, if I click Saved, can you see here, it says Build Your Own Phrasebook, which lots of people don't know is actually a feature within Google Translate. Now, what you can do is you can click here, and then it adds that phrase into Google Translate like that. And then you could also go back and you could add another phrase like this. We could go back to here and we could copy the next one like that, go back to Google Translate, get rid of the previous phrase, and then there we are, and it will then give you the translation. We click here and it will then add that to your phrasebook. Additionally, you could just use the microphone. You could say me gusta mucho el francés. Okay, I like French a lot. I could then click the start option, and there it is. And I can listen back to each one.
I really like French.
Okay, or
I don't like geography at all.
etc. And then you can click on this icon, which is export to Google Sheets. So I click on that and I click import the data like this. So we'll just wait for that to appear. There we are. And what I can do is I can take the English expressions, which I've learned from the translation, select all of those, right click copy, and then I could go into a tool like Natural Readers that was mentioned earlier. So I can click on that, click personal. I can then choose the voice. So I can go English UK. I could go with Ollie, for example, like this. And then I can then get rid of that, and I can then select all the text and replace it with my expressions, and then press play, and it will read it back to me.
I
like this.
really like French. I don't like geography at all.
Okay, so that's on a slower speed. Let's go a bit quicker. Like that, and do it again.
I don't like geography at all. I love history.
You get the idea. Okay, so that's how you can use that in Natural Reader. You can't download that in Natural Reader, but you can in this tool called TTS MP3. So let's have a listen to Kimberly.
I really like French. I don't like geography at all. I love history. And
the advantage of this option is you can download the results as an MP3 file. There's also a TTS tool called Love Voice, LUVVOICE, or 11 Labs, which was mentioned earlier, which also is great for downloading text-to-speech as well. Okay, let's go back to my presentation. Do you think creating personalized phrasebooks could help learners develop autonomy? Let's see what you think in the chat. Okay, someone just said yes. Okay, let's see. Wonderful and high-powered discussion. Yeah, I agree. Any other thoughts on creating your personalized phrasebooks? Lots of you are saying yes, certainly. Self-directed learning, absolutely. Okay, great. Last but not least, we're going to look at Brisk teaching. So another idea with Brisk: turn short text into quizzes with multiple choice questions. Share as a Google or Microsoft quiz for mobile-friendly access. Use answer-formatted Word docs for quick inputs into Microsoft quizzes. Ideal for homework, classwork, or low-tech classroom context to check understanding. And here's the link. So again, I'm going to do it live. So I'm going to come out of here. I'm going to go into a British Council video clip, which I found, and I'm going to click on the Brisk option and choose Create and choose Quiz. And then I'm going to check the grade level. That's all fine. And I'm going to click Next and Brisk it. I could create a Google Doc and then download that as a Microsoft Word document or print it out, but I'm going to make it interactive. And so it's going to create a Google quiz for me, which is going to be self-marking, which is fantastic. Okay, so we'll just wait for it to do its magic. I'm not doing anything at all. Hands off the keyboard. It's doing it all for me. So it's going to give a title for the quiz. As you can see, it's now created the different questions. You have to go through as a professional using the 20% I was talking about earlier to check that all the correct answers are in fact the correct answers. You click on each one, you see the correct answer has got a tick and it's got an answer key there with the full stop, so that's fantastic. And then to share this with your students, you just click the icon here, you click anyone with the link can respond, you copy the responding, you share it with the students, they fill in the form and answer the questions like that. Now, I've also got a prompt which I have created for you, which is here, okay? And this is going to do the same thing for you using a Microsoft form. So I'm going to copy this right now. I'm going to go into ChatGPT and go to a new chat, and I'm going to paste this in like this. Okay, and then you're going to get the prompt in the handout, so don't worry. So now it's asking me for my the transcript. So I'm going to get the transcript from the YouTube clip by clicking on the More option, clicking Show Transcript, and then I'm going to copy the transcript, and I'm going to go back to ChatGPT, paste in the transcript, and press Enter. And so now what it's going to do is it's going to generate the quiz for me in the correct format with ANS colon and then the correct answer, which means that when I put this into Microsoft Forms, it's going to have a tick next to the correct answer. So it's doing it all for me. And I wrote this prompt myself, took me about 2 hours. I now have to confirm if I'm happy with this. So I'm going to say, yes, looks good. Okay, and now it will then create a worksheet for me as a Word document, and I can now download that and import it into Microsoft Forms and convert it into a Microsoft quiz. So it's just creating it right now. Obviously, if I had longer, I would look at the quiz, making sure it was all correct and there were no biases or inaccuracies. So in no time at all, it should say that it's created the Word document for me. We are doing this all live. So there we are. These things can happen. So I click on this right now. I download it. I then go into Microsoft Forms, which I've got open here. I click the Quick Import option. I choose the Upload from this device option. And I choose my doc, which is there. And I click Open. And I choose Quiz. It will then take a few seconds. Occasionally it does that. You just have to do it again. Upload from this device. Choose the Word document, click Open, and then choose Quiz. And it will now convert it into a Microsoft quiz, and all the correct answers will have a tick next to them. So you now click Start Review, like that. There, can you see? It's got a tick next to the correct answer for each one. The only thing you have to do is you have to click on each one and you have to allocate a point, like that. And then once you've done that, you click Collect Responses, you share the link with the students, all the answers will then appear in the form, and you can also export the results as an Excel spreadsheet, and with the Google Quiz equivalent, you can export the results as a Google Sheet. So there we are. I know that was quick, but you can watch the recording back afterwards. Okay, and there's the link to the prompt. So what challenges might learners face if completing these quizzes on mobile devices in your context? Could you give me some feedback about this very quickly, if that's okay? What challenges might learners face if completing these quizzes on mobile devices in your context? Let's have a look. So we've got the question, can BRIS create quizzes from lesson content? Yes, BRIS can create content from anything really, YouTube clips, Google Docs, etc. You might have network issues, okay, that's important. Lack of technology. So if the students don't have a mobile device, then obviously you could get them to work in pairs or groups. They might use AI for answers. That's a really important point as well. I'm sure we'll come across that in the Q&A. Okay, so reflection for teachers. All tools shown today can support mobile, offline or printed-based learning. What matters most is how you adapt them for your learners. Which tools feels most realistic in your setting? What support might you need to get started? And what one tool will you try this term? So there's a challenge for you. And we're going to move on to the next bit. The key takeaways are the tools are free, accessible, and can allow multimodal learning across skills. They're designed for offline, paper print use or mobile deployment. They can support teacher confidence and workload reduction. And the use of AI can reduce your own planning time, which hopefully I've been able to prove, while still adapting content, that 20% out to the 80 plus the 20, really, really important. Okay, so here are some quick links, which you'll get later with the handout. And I'm now going to pass back to Udani for some Q&A. Over to you, Udani. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Joe. Oh my God, I think Facebook chat and the Zoom chat is blowing up with comments, and I think everyone, including me, we are really appreciative of all the tools that you shared. and how you've, demonstrated that as well. And shall I ask the first question from you? Are you ready?
Yeah, please, absolutely. Yeah, bring it
All
on.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. The first one I would like to ask is on the prompt maker, the first activity. You shared a drop-down menu which at the level of the students, A1, A2, B1, B2. Could you explain these levels very quickly, what this means for our teachers, Yeah.
Absolutely. So that refers to what's called the CEFR level, which is the Common European Framework for Reference. If you're not sure what that is, you can obviously look at it online or ask ChatGPT. It's a guide to the level of language that the students are capable of. So I sort of see it as A1 is absolute beginners. A2 would be, let's say they've been learning a language for, say, a few years, 3 years, etc. They're of a certain level. B1 is a lot more advanced. B2 is very advanced. And then C1 is getting near to native speaker level. And C2 would be absolutely native speaker level. So that if you like a rough guide, I'm sure there are other people in the chat that know a lot more about CFR levels than me, but it's just a guide to tell ChatGPT or the AI the sort of level that you're looking for. So that's the main reason you'd want to include them if you're a languages teacher.
Thank you. And Suno was a hit on Facebook. I think even over here, you could see the comments here, but there as well, people were really amazed by it. Could you let the audience know about some other options or features on Zuno that they could use? Anything else?
So there's some advanced settings, so you can go into there. I mean, I've not really played around hugely with the advanced settings, but you could, for example, if you wanted to have a male voice or a female voice, you could put that sort of comment in there, or any sort of, I mean, really, because it's a large language model that's running it, you can really suggest any sort of idea and see if it can improve on the first go that it does. But I normally find the first go that it does is normally very, very good. But if you want to make any tweaks, you could always go into those advanced settings. But I would really just encourage people to have a play, to be honest with you, because you could use it every day for free for 5 songs and per account, and you can just see what you can do. There's another tool called Udio, UDIO, which is similar to Suno, but people seem to particularly like Suno at the moment.
Yeah, and the handout will be sharing. You have shared whether they're free and what are the features and options as well, right? Yeah. All right. And then the next question would be, we talked about songs, creating songs and prompts. They're also asking if we want to accompany that with an animated video or a short story. Is there an app that you could recommend or anything?
So with Brisk Teaching that I talked about, one of the options is to create a Google Slides presentation, and then you could also download that as a Microsoft PowerPoint. So you could take the lyrics, you could put that into a Google Doc, click on the Brisk Teaching option, and then choose Create and then Presentation, and it will then make a presentation for you with the words, and then you can then use the image search option within Google Slides to then add images for that. There are other tools for generating slideshows. Off the top of my head, there's Clipchamp, which is a Microsoft tool, and there's an AI generation feature within that, which I've used briefly. So I would recommend having a look at that as well. I find with video creation, it can take quite a lot of time to generate the video. There's also Lumen 5 as well, which is LUMEN 5 as in the number. But for that one, you have to be 16 plus to create a video. So that's why it's so, I know I've said this already, but it's very, very important for everyone listening to this to check the privacy policy and the terms and conditions and the age restrictions for every single tool. And I normally use a website called Perplexity, which is like a search engine and a large language model combined. So I ask it a question, it will look for the answers, and then it will then use AI to generate the reply. So it's drawing on sources. So I will say, how old do you need to be to use X, Y, and Z tool? And it goes straight to the terms and conditions or the privacy policy, and it will then give you that information. So that's a really good tip for those sorts of situations. Perplexity.ai.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Okay, next question. I'll ask something related to the use of it in a way. So issues with plagiarism
Yeah.
and copying other people's creative content, or even lesson plans created like this, or images created like this. Uh, is there a risk of us having those issues, or what's your take on it
Okay, so
in
in
that sense?
relation to copyrighted material, you should never upload copyrighted material into a large language model. So, for example, if you have a textbook, then you shouldn't be uploading any content which is from your textbook into a large language model, because obviously all those materials have been paid for by the publishing house, and they've had experts create that content, and there's a really important place for that. Some people aren't aware really of or seem to not be aware of copyright issues around uploading other people's material. Obviously, one shouldn't do that. In relation to, say, images, at the moment, anyway, it's not possible to copyright an image that you generate with the use of AI. So all those images that I made using the AI image option in Padlet, you can use those freely in whatever you would like, because it's not possible to copyright AI produced images. But we need to be aware of the fact that we can't upload commercially produced resources, but what we can do is we can look at the text in a resource, and then we can write a prompt to ask the AI to produce something similar. So in other words, because you can't copyright language, but you can copyright a particular text. So if you look at that text and then you paraphrase a prompt to then create a new version of that text, then that is okay, but not to take the text directly.
So basically, anything that is publicly available,
Yeah.
or a book or a PDF tool that is publicly available, that's okay to get upload it on
Well, no, no,
let's
no.
say
It's,
on an app.
if
Okay.
it's publicly available, then you
Mm.
still need to either get consent, or you
Mm-hmm.
need to see if it's covered by a Creative Commons license. So just because
Right.
it's publicly available, like you might do a Google image
Mm.
search, you might find images,
Right.
but they would be
Mm-hmm.
copyrighted images probably. So that's why we need to think very carefully about and this is
Mm-hmm.
not just true of AI. I've been saying this for years. We
Of
need to be
course.
careful of using Creative Commons license images, etc. only.
Mm, mm,
With
mm.
AI now, it's so easy to generate text, but I've said it already. We mustn't put in other people's
Yeah,
work without consent or permission.
of course. All right, thank you. Next question. Let me see. All right, they were curious about whatever the demonstrations you did
Hmm.
on the apps. Did you those demonstrations were using features that are free, or
Yeah,
was it all right, not
yeah.
with the
Everything,
upgraded version?
yeah,
Okay.
everything I've shown you today, you can do for free. It might be that in some accounts, like for Brisk, for example, I've got a premium version, but what I've shown you,
Mm-mm.
e.g., making podcasts or making multiple choice quizzes, you can use in the free version. Absolutely.
Right, but all these tools do have a paid version as well.
Off the top of
Some
my
of them.
head, most of them do.
Mm-hmm.
TTS MP3, it's completely free, but
Mm-hmm.
most tools, because they're a business, they're trying to make a living. So most tools will have a free option, but will then, if you want more features or more messages you can send in a certain period of time, as with ChatGPT, then you have to pay. So I've got a premium version for ChatGPT, but again, everything I showed you, you can do for free. But if you're creating a downloadable Word document, you can't
Mm-hmm.
make like unlimited
Right.
requests for that. You can do, like a few every hour, and then you have to wait until the next one. But you can also
Right.
you can copy and paste the results of, let's say, a lesson plan or a resource, paste it into a Google Doc or a Word document, whichever ecosystem you're working in, and then download that as a PDF, for example. So there's a way around it. But if you want the AI to generate a downloadable Word document or PDF, then you're limited in the number of times you can do that in a given time in the free version.
All right. Thank you for that. And of course, a lot of teachers in our region, South Asian region, they their L1 is not English, right?
Mm,
And
yeah.
using AI, is it going to hinder or decrease their own English language skills and teaching skills by keeping on using these tools? What's your opinion on it? And is there a way, if that tends to happen, is there a way to overcome it?
Okay, so I've seen that question many, many, many times, and I have the view, I'm very positive about this. I think that AI can be very supportive in helping you to practice whatever it is you want to practice. So in this context, you can use the AI. Let's say you can use the voice mode in ChatGPT to have a conversation, or you can use a tool like Mizu, which is Mizou, to create your own educational chatbot, and you can then practice speaking, let's say in English, if it's not your L1, and it will then give you feedback. You could use a tool like TurboScribe. You could record your voice into TurboScribe, which will give you a transcript. You can then open up ChatGPT from the interface in TurboScribe and say, can you give me feedback about my English? Tell me what I could do to improve. I think that actually AI encourages critical thinking rather than reduces it. I mean, recently I've been playing around with Google Gemini Canvas and creating my own web apps through plain text. So I don't know how to code, but I can write my own web apps by saying, add this button, I want it to do this, I want it to do that, etc. Export as a PDF, and it just builds the web app for me. And afterwards, after a session, my critical thinking, I have to have a bit of a sit down because my brain is working at 100 miles an hour. So I think that in that situation, it's very exciting because you can focus on the pedagogy, not on the technology, I think.
True. It's always about our intentions as well, right? Of what we want to do. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the brisk quiz generator that you mentioned, can it be uploaded to classwork section of the Google Classroom? Is it?
So if you have created a Google quiz, my understanding is, well, obviously that will automatically go into your Google Drive, which means it's accessible in Classroom. You can create a quiz directly in Classroom, and my understanding is in the last week or so that Gemini has now been Gemini, the equivalent of ChatGPT in Google, has been added within Google Classroom. So those people using Google Classroom will have to check with the person in charge of Gemini being rolled out whether they have access to that. But my understanding is once you've created your quiz, you can then easily share it via the link in Classroom, but you can actually create a Google quiz live in Classroom. And I think now, because of Gemini, you can generate the quiz as well in Classroom as well. But you'd have to have a look at that in your own context if you have accessibility to it, access to it. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. And the apps you mentioned, can teachers use it on the mobile, most of them, or some of them?
Yeah, so I deliberately made sure that all the tools that I chose should either work as the web version on a mobile device, or in the case of Google Translate, there are dedicated Google Translate apps as well. So and Suno, for example, as well, it comes with an iOS and Android app as well, and everything syncs with your account. So I deliberately spent a lot of time in the preparation for this to make sure that everything I showed, as I've said in the bullet points, is mobile friendly and should work in a low-tech environment. E.g., you can download worksheets, you can download the MP3 files for use offline.
Right. Thank you so much for answering all my questions. I had a lot, and there were a lot as well. And I want to tell the audience we answered as many as we could because there was a lot. But they are very, very, grateful to you, and they already want you to do another session.
Oh, great.
So,
okay, I'd love to.
So thank you so much for that wonderful session, Joe.
You're very welcome, Udani. Thank you to you personally for hosting, and thank you to everybody behind the scenes making this happen. These things don't just happen. There's a lot of work that goes on in the background. So I really appreciate all the support from the British Council and everyone involved directly within the team to make this wonderful event happen. And I really hope everyone enjoys the rest of the event. And if you want to get in touch with me, feel free to do so. I'm easily findable on social media and other places.
Thank you. And for everyone who has joined the session, thank you so much. You have engaged with us and answered all the questions and sent us questions as well. And I'm sure you can't wait to try out all the tools Joe, showed us today. And next is the feedback survey, where you will, once you fill it out and submit, you'll get your certificate. And once you submit the feedback form, you can also either use the link on the chat or use the QR code that I'm showing right now and scan it and fill the form, submit, and then you can download the certificates to the sessions that you attended. A PDF handout, like I said, of the key takeaways with the links to the tools will be available by 26th of July on our webpage. And we'll be having our final session in 30 minutes. I really hope you'll be able to join that too. It's called Using AI to Support Large, Diverse, and Low Resource Classrooms with Catherine Riley. And it'll be another exciting session rich with a lot of tools. Thank you so much for joining and hope to see you in 30 minutes.